Here's another episode of What It's Like to Go to War. This one is for all of you technology junkies out there. When I was first deployed to Afghanistan, this is very early in the global war on terrorism, there was a long period of peace in the United States military. That long period of peace leading up to the attacks on September 11th, 2001 gave the Defense Department, gave the corporations and those major industries out there the chance to build some impressive, actually some mind-blowing technology. There's this phrase that gets used among military strategists about revolutions in military warfare. And the question is, can we build the next widget that will be so revolutionary that it will fundamentally change the way that people fight wars? And one, it will save lives, but two, it will force everybody on the planet to buy our widget and to use our widget because it's radically shaped the future of war. To be honest with you, if you study the history of warfare over all of human history, there have been very, very few advancements that would fundamentally fit the criteria of a revolution in military warfare. But there was so many small incremental advancements before the attacks on September 11th that warfare in the United States had radically changed. In fact, there were planners, there were people out there who really felt like technology has become so great and so successful that we can probably win the next war just with our technology, just with the stuff that's in the atmosphere floating in the in orbit above our head, with the stuff that's in the skies and on the ground and the stuff that's in the water. And the truth is that the most awesome, but also the most awful weapon on the battlefield from the very beginning of human history has always been the same weapon. In fact, as I study history, the very first act of human warfare was when a brother named Cain picked up a stone and crushed his brother Abel. It's brother to brother fighting that the Bible describes in Genesis chapter 4. It was a stone back in Cain and Abel's day. And then it became a sword, and then it was a bow and arrow, and then it became a rifled muzzle, and then it became rockets and artillery and nuclear bombs from intercontinental missiles, and now even from space. There are advancements in warfare, but the most awesome, and at the same time, the most awful weapon on the battlefield, from Cain and Abel to my first deployment to Afghanistan early in the war on terrorism to today, and I'm convinced that this will be true for the next 100 or 1,000 years, if that's how long this planet exists, is humans. We have the ability to do to one another on the battlefield far more dangerous than any piece of technology that might come out of a factory tomorrow. We have the ability to do good on the battlefield to our brothers and sisters in arms far better than any life-saving device or any new procedure. Man will always be the most awful and the most awesome weapon on the battlefield. And by man, of course, I'm referring to humankind right now. No amount of technology can ever remove, can ever conquer that factor on the battlefield. So I'm a guy who has stood up and said this publicly among all of those technology nerds and all of those brilliant strategists who are looking for the next widget that will win the war for us. It will always come down to a guy or a gal on the ground with a gun and a will to do what's necessary to win that will ultimately win the next war. It will also be that exact same scenario on the opposite side of the battlefield that will lose the next war. The most awesome and the most awful weapon on the battlefield for all time, from Cain and Abel to today or 1,000 years from now, is always going to be mankind. And this is just something for you technology nerds. Those of you who are looking for an advantage or looking for a widget or planning a strategy around a piece of equipment to win the next war. It's man. That is the most awesome and awful weapon on the battlefield. Just a couple of thoughts for you. My personal perspective on what it's like to go to war. See you next time.